Hi there, it's Ron. Just wanted to share a quick video with some news and what I'll be doing for NAMI with public speaking. Um, it was Friday evening. I got an email from the doctor who's directing the program that I'm taking part in. The NAMI, that's National Alliance on Mental Illness, North Texas chapter. Their Recovery 101 program, Rock Stars, which is their Rockstar is ROCC, that's Recovery Oriented Community Care. So basically, it's one of their outreach programs, and I was accepted into that to be a public speaker and do presentations for NAMI to different groups, and with a focus on recovery people who are dealing with mental health issues, depression, PTSD, addiction. Also be addressing addiction. And as I mentioned before, I've been sober since May 7, 2019. Well, anyway, we've been doing this training, making videos and meeting online and preparing to do all this. And I sent in, it was Sunday and Monday, I sent in videos to the doctor to review and see where we're at as far as our presentation styles and how we cover the material and all that kind of stuff. It's basically a slide presentation, a multimedia presentation. And the way I do it, I kind of intersperse my story with different topics that we come upon. And the email I got from him was very uplifting and encouraging. He really liked my presentation style and what I had to say, and he told me my story is quite powerful. And that was just all wow, just encouraging seemed barely an adequate word for it, but really lifted my spirits, really got me kind of revved up to do this thing, and I'm excited about it. I'm so excited about, especially now getting that really positive, glowing review from him. And we'll do some more training, make some more training videos, do a little more back and forth, getting feedback, and then we'll be ready to go. We'll be presenting to different groups. And this is basically the opportunity of a lifetime. So wanted to share that with people. And I'm going to give a brief example of, excuse me just a second here. I'm about to buy a stand for my little G-pad. Okay. There we go. This is a story that I wrote. I wrote this in December 2008, and as you see, it was published March, April 2009 in Marathon and Beyond magazine, which was a bi-monthly running magazine that went out of business. I think it was 2012 or 13. I could be a little off on that, forgive me. And this is, feel free to take screenshots if you want of this. But it's easy to find. Just look up Ron McCracken Marathon Beyond magazine, or just Google in Pursuit of Ghosts and Unicorns, and it should come up in some form or other. And what I did with this story, I wanted to convey the history of the Boston Marathon, which has quite a rich history, and intersperse it with my personal history with the race, which at that time I was preparing to run my 9th straight Boston. I ended up running 17 straight Boston marathons. And I start out with a poem by Bertha Kelly, who was the mother of Johnny the Elder Kelly, who Johnny the Elder Kelly won the race twice, and he completed it 58 times. Pretty amazing. But it goes like this. It may be springtime in the Rockies, but it's marathon time out here. And I just love that. That's just that perfectly captures the mood of Boston at marathon time. And tell a few stories about bricklayer Bill Kennedy, who won the race in 1917. He was a bricklayer from New York City, and some of the construction workers, the laborers in Boston, they had read about him and heard about him. So when they were running through Brookline on race day, that's miles like 22 through 24, right around there in Boston, the men who were working as bricklayers, they came out along the course, a bunch of them, and they were banging bricks together as he went by as a show of respect to him. So try to picture that in 1917 too. Pretty amazing stuff, and something that Bill Kennedy said in a letter to the Boston Globe. He was a little bit of a philosopher. He wrote, "All marathon runners are dreamers. We are not practical. The hours we spend every day, every year, the strength we expend over long, lonesome roads, and the pot of gold we aspire to receive for it all. The end of the rainbow, Johnny, is the survivor's medal." And I will have to say right here, my source for, I had several sources for this article. One of my primary sources was my friend Tom Derderian's book about the Boston Marathon. It was a century of running, and he wrote this fantastic tome about the first 100 Bostons. Each chapter representing a different year of the race. Anyway, but I first put in my history. My pursuit of my 9th survivor's medal this year begins, as always, when I arrive at my room at the old brownstone at 463 Beacon Street, back of the house, 3rd floor. And if I had arrived 50 odd years earlier, I could have leaned out the window and waved to my 3rd floor neighbors at 477 Beacon Street, 1957 Boston champ Johnny the Younger Kelly and his new wife Jessie. Remember, marathoners are dreamers. So, I just I felt like the best way to give a tour of the course and its history was by interspersing my history with the rich history of the race. So there's a current picture of, current at that time, of Keiso Yamada, who won the race in 1953. And then see the black and white picture of the year he won the race. And I've had the pleasure of running close to Keiso Yamada several times. And the guy, more than 50 years after he won the race, he was still coming back and running it. Now, he didn't run consecutively, but in later years, he started running every year. So, more pictures. There's Stylianos Kyriakides, winner of the 1946 race. He was from Greece. He's giving a kiss to Johnny the Elder Kelly, who finished second. A little more, and I'm just kind of scrolling through these fast. But like I said, this is pretty easy to find online, or if any of you who know me on Facebook, I post this article at least several times a year. As the women of Wellesley College personify the siren song of the Boston Marathon. And that's perfect phrase for it. I mentioned Bobby Gibb, who was the first woman to run Boston in 1966. And she said that she hadn't intended to make a feminist statement. She only wanted to do, she wrote that in Runner's World in June 1978. She said, I only wanted to do what I love to do and what challenged me. And as most of us know, the year after that, Catherine Switzer became the first woman to run with a number, which they still tried to kick her out of the race because women weren't officially allowed. So that was an amazing story too. So I cover the race through the years, through the 1917 through the 40s, the 50s, and again, sharing my history of it. Oh yeah, I'll never forget this. And speaking of the hills in Newton, which is a very famous part of the course, the Newton Hills are the site of where many of the races have been decided among the winners and losers. When you take a sharp right turn at the fire station, we hit the first of 3 Commonwealth Avenue climbs. Regardless of the day I'm having, the first one always feels like a sucker punch to me. 450 meters long with its steepest grade at 6%, kind of a love tap to warn you of the beating to come. And yeah, the second rise is longer, 625 meters, but not as steep. When I ran this 2006 Boston with a full-blown migraine headache, it was on this hill that I downed a goo with a huge twig of Cytomax and slammed the bottle to the ground, vowing not to walk anymore on my way to the finish. The 2006 Boston, I think my time was around 3 hours and 12 minutes or something like that. But I had, from shortly before the race, I developed this migraine headache where I was kind of getting that tunnel vision where I could only see just a little pinhole, almost, not really a pinhole, but just that very narrow view in front of me. And I'd forgotten about that year. So, but I powered through it. And there's that pictures me finishing 2004 race, which at the time was the third hottest in history. That was 90 degrees, no shade, and blacktop road. And I'm rounding the turn onto Boston Street, which where the finish line is. But 2012 it got hotter, and it was 94 degrees. And see the picture of me. I'm in the middle there, and then Bill Rogers on the left, and Yuri Laptev, a great Russian runner, on the right. Yuri has now finished something like 27 or 28 Boston Marathons. Bill Rogers, most everyone know, he won 4 times. And I had the honor of celebrating with them. We would always have a big celebration at Bill Rogers Running Center the day after the race. So I had the honor of celebrating with them many times. That this is the day after. So, and I mentioned at the end of the article, one of the years sharing that toast, it with other members of the running tribe. It brings me back to thoughts of bricklayer Bill Kennedy. Another quote from Bill Kennedy: "The handshakes and then oblivion. All we have are the good friends we make. That is what happens while chasing ghosts and unicorns." And it's funny, this story, it came together real easily for me. It was kind of stream of consciousness writing, but that is what happens while chasing ghosts and unicorns. You just, what's the famous John Lennon lyric? Life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Well, that's kind of how this public speaking thing evolved. And it's all happening. You can see, let me show you. Wearing my Boston Strong shirt. And let me get back off the share here. Okay. Wearing my Boston Strong shirt. But all of this is happening. The finding a great therapist that I found in 2017. The public speaking, all these things. And again, the being a presenter for NAMI, that's going to be the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm just amazed by it. But all this is happening because of the Boston Marathon, because I decided early on this obsession with the Boston Marathon, and now I'm reaping a lot of rewards from it. It just astonishes me, to be honest. And I've cried a lot of happy tears about this. So that's what lies ahead for me in 2021. Just next couple weeks, doing a lot of preparation for these public speaking appearances, which for now will be on video. We'll be doing it on Zoom, and like I showed you, we're doing a little multimedia thing. And then hopefully by later this year, we'll be able to start doing it in person. And that's about it, but sharing some good news. And everyone, just keep moving forward. What was it my mom always said? Onward and upward, the best is yet to come. And it's 2021 is looking good for me. I'm just extremely excited about this opportunity with NAMI. And that's about it. Everyone, hang in there. Reach out for help if you need it. And remember, we are luminous beings.